All right, checking in on Wednesday. Wish this was started a whole lot earlier, but it's not. The challenge I've been having is both with scratches on the glass, which were not coming off as easily as I thought they would with the cerium oxide. It was working, it just was going to take a lot more work. And then also, you can see like how we have this, like this thing right here, all of this is all over the entire back of the glass. That is silicone residue from where I use silicone as a glue to hold in a styrofoam custom 3D background. Had a whole lot of scratches, so I gave up on using different chemicals. I've tried acetone, mineral spirits, rubbing alcohol, denatured alcohol, white vinegar, lots of razor blades, lots of elbow grease. Tried all this different stuff. Finally reached out for some help. A couple people mentioned try sanding it, so I did. So I started, went through, you can see that down here, this is a pretty good example. You see all this? This is all these scratches. You can see how bad the scratching is all right in here. That was this entire side going up like this. You can see here, this is where I've sanded. So, I mean, I didn't get all the way to the edges, or this one scratch I missed, a couple little pieces right here, but for the most part, it worked. So I am gonna come back and I'm gonna redo this entire panel. Once I'm caught up. But I can tell that it's getting rid of the scratches. I'll show you what I used in just a minute. The other big thing though that I was really concerned about was getting all that silicone off. So how has that gone? Well, again, you can see here's an example of where that silicone is and how it's just not coming off at all those different things I tried. And then you can see the difference of where I have tried all of this. So this is just the glass isn't completely clean yet, but you can see where all the silicone now is gone. So you can see that back over here and then here it's completely gone. Nice and clean, nice and crystal clear glass. The back of the glass on the other side of it, the bottom side of it is not clean. I just flipped it over on its side to be able to work, and that used to be the back of the tank that had never been cleaned because it's right up against a wall. So I've gone through and I've sanded this down, I've polished it, everything looks really good. I'm very happy with how this is turning out. Now I'm just gonna spend the rest of the afternoon doing this. So what did I use? I used a standard DeWalt $80 orbital sander here with the extra handle on the end. And then as far as sandpaper goes, I've got a whole collection of different grits that I'm using. Starting with 120, 220, 320, then I'm jumping all the way to 1,000 because couldn't find 400, 500, or 600, 800 right here. I really wanted a 600 and an 800, but they were not available at Home Depot, and I was tired of waiting for stuff to be delivered from Amazon. So I went with 1,000, 1,200, 1,500, 2,000, 3,000 grit. So the practice that I used, or the technique that I used, is have my iPad over here running with a stopwatch running so I could make sure, see how long I was running on each section. The way I would do it is I would start sanding with the lowest grit and then work my way all the way up to the highest grit. Each one you have to run for at least a minute on the entire panel before moving on to the next grit. Otherwise you're going to create swirls, and that's no bueno. So run with that. And usually ran each one for about 2.5 to 3 minutes, but at least a minute on each section. While you're doing it, make sure, because you're sanding glass, make sure you have a respirator, make sure you've got your trusty goggles. I'm also dressed jeans, long sleeve shirt, head to toe, and I'm also using rubber gloves. Don't have them on right now, but I've also got rubber gloves on. This is glass dust, so you definitely don't want to inhale it or get it in your eyes or anything. Every time you start to switch one of the different sandpaper grits, get a nice infrared thermometer. Make sure you read the instructions and how it works. And you want to make sure that the glass does not get up to or above 70 degrees Celsius. If it gets higher than that, you got a chance you're going to crack your glass. So here, I just go through, take this, aim the laser. Mine, it works best if it's about a foot away. Tells me 33 degrees, it's because I've been done for a little bit. So this big panel was running more at about like 40 to 50 degrees Celsius while I was working on it. That smaller panel over there was running closer to 70. And so I'd have to do some and then stop for a little while and then do some and stop for a little while. But all in all, very happy that all of that stuff is coming off. It's off on everything from this piece of tape off to the right. Everything is good over here. Have to sand the rest of the 2/3 of the front panel of the glass. Have to also do that entire panel and do this entire panel too, as there's a bunch of scratches on it. You can't really see because it's pretty dirty. Oh, and the other thing I'm doing after I do all the sanding is I'm going through and doing a really good polish on it as well. I'm using these little felt pads right here. White side is the one you're going to use. Black side is the part that connects to the back of the Velcro on the sander. And I'm using this E3 Polar Shine. Pretty pricey. That bottle is half as much as the sander itself. That bottle is $40, I think. We're at $40, whereas the sander was only 80 bucks. So got 2 of those bottles. Wasn't sure if I was going to need both. Very much looking forward to returning one to Amazon that's sitting over there in that cardboard box by the TV. So I'm pretty happy with how it's turning out. Once this is done, the next thing's going to be to strip all the seals, to pop the frame, or go ahead and reseal the entire tank, pop the frame off once I stand it back up, clean the frame really good, clean the very top of the glass really good, because the frame is in really nasty shape. Just a lot of like calcium buildup and stuff. And I just want to take it off and just clean up the glass underneath it and then re-silicone it back on the inside. So I think I'm looking at about another 2 days of work of sanding, cleaning, getting the top off, and then sealing it. And then sealing it hopefully today's Wednesday, so hopefully sealing it on Friday morning to let it start airing out throughout the day, Friday and Saturday and Sunday.